I'm Tanveer. I am the co-founder and CEO of SOVA.
Why we have such little knowledge of the one thing that can help us be happy and healthy for our whole lives.
What we do at SOVA is we actually help you live that lifestyle without having to give up on everything good.
Tell us a little bit about the journey of building to here and then what comes next.
Once we know where the deficiencies are, we've actually been able to build a cutting-edge product, which is a custom-made precision probiotic.
Talk to us a little bit about the transformative impact that you've had on some people.
We have actually evidence to show almost 75 to 80% improvement.
And how investors are going to feel in 3 to 5 years if they make an investment today.
The vision, Brian, is to build an evidence-based precision health platform. We are one of the only companies in the world that are actually doing these custom-made products today. Actually grown about 4x in the last 10 months.
Brian here from Expert Dojo. Welcome to our podcast. Now, you are here today if you are crazily interested in being able to follow the progress of some of the most exceptional entrepreneurs in India who are breaking through in a huge way to become multi-$100 million, if not billion-dollar companies. Now, you trust that I will be speaking to these companies because at Expert Dojo, we invest money into both Indian companies and global companies every single day. Now, in this podcast, I've got one of our finest entrepreneurs, Tanvir from SOVA Health. We first got involved with the company years back for an investment of $1 million that we were hoping to do in the future. That is now coming very close. We've been following the progress of the company. We love the founder, we love the product. And I will say, just before I introduce Tanvir in here, there are certain characteristics of entrepreneurs that blow me away and make me very happy to be an investor and a growth hacker in this space. But one of those characteristics is when you're trying to break through by making a product which your customers will love. And that is the long way of doing it because you have to study and execute and study and execute until you get to a place where the customer says to you, you've built something which I adore. In this case, you are the epitome of that entrepreneur. So it's been great to be on for the journey with you. And can you share a little bit, Tanvir, just SOVA Health, what the genesis of the journey was? I know we got together about 3 years or so ago, but take us through a little bit of that early journey.
Absolutely. Firstly, thank you so much for having me here and welcome to India. Glad that you've, it's your first time here and hopefully we'll make the trip worth it. So cool, Brian. So I think for our listeners, the background on SOVA, how we got here is as follows. I'm Tanveer. I am the co-founder and CEO of SOVA. And my inspiration for doing this actually comes from my days as a national level tennis player. So health and fitness is something that I've kind of grown up around. And really from a consumer lens, solving for everyday decision making around food, around health, and really not having to give up on all the good things in life is what inspired me to go deeper, educate myself about nutrition, about biohacking, understanding the signals that our body gives us. SOVA essentially is a product of that process. We help people simplify everyday decision making around food, starting with their gut health. We fundamentally believe that gut health is deeply interconnected to all the different aspects of the body. And we like to do this in a very, very evidence-based and science-first method. So what we do here is we run a full stack gut health platform where we start off by helping our users test for their gut health using a genetic sequencing-based gut microbiome test.
And can I just stop you for a moment? Because I think one of the really interesting, I always like to paint a picture of somewhere somewhere when I think about how a product and a consumer interact. I think one of the greatest challenges that faces most people is our ignorance, right? We just don't know. The gut is the most important part of the body, which dictates whether we will live or die, whether we will be sick or we will be healthy, literally nothing else. And most of us have no clue. And so if this is Star Wars, well, Luke Skywalker is SOVA Health, but Darth Vader is ignorance, right?
Absolutely.
It's people like me who are just stupid. We don't know what we're eating. We don't know how it's going to affect our longevity. And so I love that one of the first things that you did when we first met was you almost started a war on people's lack of knowledge of the things that could make them healthy and happy for the future. And that to me was the genesis. I know how you developed the product, but can you maybe speak to that a little bit and about why we have such little knowledge of the one thing that can help us be happy and healthy for our whole lives?
So honestly, I don't blame people completely for it. I think the environment around us disincentivizes to almost know more about our body. We are plastered with a lot of information, that's shoved down our throat, whether it's in the form of social media, where unfortunately now we have a lot of people who've become gurus in health. A lot of influencers.
With 1 week's training.
With no training and no certification. But, sometimes it's good to have experiential learning. And I think that's extremely valuable. But when you start taking experiential learning
from TikTok.
And trying to, make it sound like you're like this expert who's been trained and start throwing scientific terminology, well, unfortunately, you do tend to convince a few people. And that's how the trouble begins.
Yeah.
So what we really try and do at SOVA is simplify this process. Look inwards, look into your body, rely on data, look at what our body is telling us in the form of biomarkers. And now, in fact, we have a product that actually is custom built to those biomarkers. So really, and I really feel this from a first principles perspective as a consumer myself, that I don't want to be given gyan, like they say in India, which is like this endless amount of advice with no real basis to it.
Yeah.
I think I'm a mature enough individual to make good choices for myself. And I know that eating an unhealthy meal once in a while is something that's perfectly okay for my body.
Yeah.
What we do at SOVA is we actually help you live that lifestyle without having to give up on everything good, going out, getting a drink once in a while. I mean, we're young, we're people who want to live, and the whole idea is to increase health span. Not just the number of years you live, but the number of years you live healthy. And healthy also means I need to be happy. And happy means that I should be able to enjoy myself and do it while my body is still able to cope with it.
Yeah.
So that's really SOVA, the emotional side of it, and an interesting time to talk about what the word means, what the brand means.
Yeah.
SOVA is a Hebrew word. It means the feeling of satiety or satisfaction that one experiences after a meal, after food. So it's that emotional state of happiness that we experience when we say, hey, we love what we just ate. Mm-hmm. And I think that's extremely critical to being able to build a healthcare brand. Because ultimately, customers are able to do what they like and do it over a sustainable period of time, which means if you look at it from a spectrum perspective, they'll actually make better decisions on a more sustainable basis versus trying to do something that's super restrictive for a short period of time and then falling off the bandwagon.
And your idea was to create a measurement technique and then take that measurement technique and then give people the solution so that you could give, and I'll say this to everyone out here, the next time you have a holiday, the next time you want to give a gift to someone that you love, you give the gift of life, which is SOVA. And so talk to us a little bit about how the functionality works. And then what I want to do for our guests, because there's many investors who are looking at this, and those investors are thinking, we want to be able to make money. So we're going to talk about how much you've raised. We're going to talk a little bit about how you've developed the product, where you are right now, what next steps are going to be coming, and how investors that come into the round now can make money. But first of all, let's talk a bit about the product.
Absolutely. So at SOVA, we run what we call a full stack gut health platform. This essentially has 3 core pillars. The first step is always a diagnostic test. Now, in our case, this diagnostic test is a gut microbiome test. This essentially is the universal gold standard for learning what's happening inside your gut. This test is a at-home test, so you get a kit to your home.
Nice and simple.
It's super simple to do. You do it at your own convenience. It's DIY. We're able to then extract DNA from your sample, which is a stool sample in this case, sequence it genetically to get a profile of all the, let's keep it very simple, the good and the bad guys inside your gut. Fundamentally, what we're trying to do here is eliminate the bad bacteria, or the bad guys, and supplement you for the good bacteria so that you have an optimal balance in your gut. And this optimal balance in your gut then impacts not just digestion, which is the obvious use case, but also metabolic conditions, sugar control, mental health, skin, so on and so forth. And this is why they call the gut the second brain. And this is why it's so important to actually have that balanced gut.
For those of you who've driven in Bangalore, it's a little bit like removing all of the cars who are going to become very dangerously close to you and possibly hit you all the time, right? It clears the road so you can make it all the way through without the bad guys.
Balances it out. So this, for us, from a consumer journey perspective, the diagnostic test is a super, super critical step because it gives us the root cause of any symptoms or problems that our users may be suffering from. It also helps us identify any imbalances that you may have if you're somebody who's coming to us for preventative reasons or to kind of balance your gut overall. After this is where the magic begins, because once we know what's wrong with you, once we know where the deficiencies are, we've actually been able to build a cutting-edge product, which is a custom-made precision probiotic, which is tailored to every individual gut test report, which means we don't do a mass-manufactured, over-the-counter supplement. We actually tailor something to your specific report. Each and every ingredient, each and every API, like they call it, that goes into your supplement is actually customized to your report. So essentially how it flows is you get your test report. We already know why you've come to us in terms of your health profile, your health goals, or any conditions you may be suffering from. We have a proprietary algorithm that then customizes a formulation for you, taking into account all of this data as input information. This formulation then gets, and this is where the second part fascinates me as a founder, is there's a completely automated manufacturing line where we literally input that formulation into a computer, which passes it on to a machine. This machine uses a robotic compounding manufacturing technique. So think of a robotic arm going and picking up these different ingredients in the specific micro quantities that are meant to be delivered to you as per your report, packs it up for you into a single-use daily sachet. And all you need to do is have one sachet a day. You can actually pop it directly into your mouth. It tastes good. We do this additional layer of personalization where you as a user get to choose your flavor. So you know this is being made for you as well. And you got this one sachet a day, takes care of your gut health needs. And we recommend that you take it once a day, 365 days a year. Everybody should take
this.
Absolutely.
There's literally not a person on the planet that shouldn't be taking this.
That should not be taking this.
If you have fewer bad guys, then they will be isolated. If you have lots of them, they will be isolated. And that way you're continually helping your body in the areas that it's asking for help. And so talk to us a little bit. Actually, I do want to talk about the growth, but before I do that, talk to us a little bit about the transformative impact that you've had on some people, maybe some feedback that you've had from customers, and a little bit of an idea as to the amount of people that have used this.
Absolutely. So today, we're fortunately the largest gut testing platform digitally in India. We're sitting on now the largest microbiome database of the Indian population. And this is incredibly useful information for us because not only do we have diagnostic data, but we also marry it with their health profiles, which is their health goals or their symptoms. We then have products. This is how, in fact, the product looks.
Looks amazing.
We then have people who use this product, and when they come back to us for a second test, we can actually measure improvements. So this is now an objective, customized, high efficacy, high accuracy product that you have real world empirical evidence to prove efficacy on. So it's not just about how you feel, which you do, people do report massive improvements in symptoms. We actually are now undergoing a clinical trial, a prospective clinical trial with one of India's largest hospitals as the CRO to track this efficacy and publish it as a white paper. But we have actually evidence to show almost 75 to 80% improvement for people who have symptoms like acidity, IBS, constipation, and diarrhea. And on the other side of the spectrum, which is the biohacker or the preventative side, we try and tell our users every time that we don't need to tell you how good you're feeling. You can actually test and see it on your report.
It's quantifiable.
It's quantifiable. So that's how we do this today.
And athletes seem like a very natural next group of people who should be using this because, again, this speaks to the very thing they're looking for. So it makes sense. You don't need to take my word for it. Take India's word for it. This is the largest. Nobody's any bigger than this. Now, let's talk a little bit about the numbers. So when we first met, you were just starting, right? You were trying to find the growth loop. And for all investors who are watching here, we all know the growth loop is everything. Once a founder has a growth loop, it can grow from 20K a month, 30K, 50,000. I'm speaking in US dollars. all the way through to the $3, $5, $10 million a month that is required to build out a unicorn. Tell us a little bit about the journey of building to here and then what comes next.
Absolutely. So I think our first cycle of discovery was when we were starting off by selling the tests. As a company, we were cognizant about the fact that we want to be data-oriented, which is why when we launched the product, we actually launched with the test only. Once we had a significant volume of tests sold, is when we started positioning the custom-made probiotic in the market. Now, what the test gave us is obviously longitudinal data on where the deficiencies in the population set lie, and therefore we were able to build this customized offering to suit their needs. In terms of the revenue curve, we've pretty much created this category in India. Today, if I can share some statistics with you, we command 85% share of voice on Google for the gut microbiome family of keywords. So that's a space that we pretty much own. We also are, like I was mentioning earlier, the largest online testing company. Because we have a large number of users in our top funnel who are buying the test from us, we get the opportunity to offer them a solution that's based on their test. The real unlock, Brian, came for us when we launched SOVA X in October 2024, which was 6 months ago. And today I'm happy to share that we see an extremely healthy 65 to 70% conversion rate from users who buy our test towards them buying our custom-made probiotics. And if you think from an investor's lens, what we do is we spend marketing dollars, whether that is through performance marketing or through brand awareness and content-led growth, towards educating people and helping them buy the test. Our second transaction, which is the test to probiotics upgrade, is something that happens at zero marketing spend, because these are now users who come to us with the test report and we're able to
recommend. You have them for life.
One, we have them for life. Second, we don't have to spend marketing money again and again on upgrading them. And because this is empirical, we're able to show them results, thereby helping them stay in the renewal or retention loop with us. So that's really where the unlock happened from a revenue perspective. We're now close to 2 million ARR, growing aggressively, actually grown about 4x in the last 10 months. CM3 positive, so great unit economics starting to come through. We're actually burning less money today than we were burning when we were doing half our revenues.
I mean, I've watched you go through this journey. Look, I'll fast forward this and get you back to the important bit. They're going to hit $1 million a month in revenue within the next year to year and a half, no doubt in my mind. This is not an India problem. This is a global problem. Ignorance is the only thing that is universal and without bias. Everybody has it and allows for it. And it needs to stop. And what I said at the very beginning about give someone you love the gift of life, this is very serious. If you're giving somebody socks, it reflects how you think about them. If you're giving them something that will be able to detect and help areas that affect their health and aptitude in the future, it will also say what you speak about them. Now, when I met this man at the very beginning, he had this deep, deep, deep feeling that the world needed to be saved. And he stepped in, and I will tell you, has gone further than anybody else to do it. In those early days, only his resilience was going to get him to the place that he got to about 10 months or so ago. At that stage, I thought very few people would be able to do it. He did it. For what he did then, this next step for me is easy. And that's why I say to you, for him to get to that 2 million ARR, up to 10 million annual recurring revenue, I don't find it particularly hard. For us to be able to expand this into the United States and Europe, and then boost that up to $3 to $5 million a month, I don't find particularly hard. I think you're gonna find more and more, especially sports celebrities, using this and speaking about it and talking about how they make them feel. And so finish us with your vision of what you see the world in the future, and also share, because this will be shared by us and people generally, and also you with investors. For all investors who are looking at this and thinking about investing, just maybe talk about what that vision looks like, the world, which is SOVA world, and how investors are going to feel in 3 to 5 years if they make an investment today.
Super. The vision, Brian, is to build an evidence-based precision health platform. Now, what do I mean by this? We want to be deeply rooted in data. We want to be objective, driven by science, and do this across categories in healthcare. Gut health is just where we've begun. we've got this framework where we're able to look at the data, build a custom-made product that's highly accurate and highly effective. And there's a continuous data loop that's tracking the improvements, tracking the progress that the individuals made, and thereby being able to optimize them further. What we've done in gut, we're going to do in multiple categories within healthcare. And remember that the fundamental driver for me was that feeling of SOVA, that feeling of happiness after a meal. And that's something we want to retain. We want to let our users experience and empower them with this decision for themselves, rather than us trying to force something down their throat. So that's why data first, and that's why cross-category for evidence-based precision health. Now, in terms of how investors should look at us, we're building SOVA as a global product. Our facility is already US FDA approved. We are one of the only companies in the world that are actually doing these custom-made products today. The manufacturing line's already set up. We've got our revenue base growing very, very aggressively, and we have large aspirations. So I won't put a number to this at this point of time, but all I can say is large global outcome, multi-category approach, with the underlying emotional connect staying towards keeping our users happy and satisfied and living a long and healthy lifespan.
I will put a number to it. It's $1 billion company, no question. The execution has been proven. When we look at unicorns, and Expert Dojo have invested in over 300 companies with one of the strongest metrics in the entire venture capital space, and we understand growth. Outbound is important, they've nailed outbound. Conversion is important, they have EBITDA positive. Resilience is important. He has shown resilience in spades along with peak performance. Investment proficiency is important. They've never had any problem raising investment, and I cannot believe they're going to have problems raising investment right now. And lovable product, which is something that we enthuse about all day, is important, and you have all of your users who love you. So share with everybody how they can contact you. And then everybody, I suggest, if you're an investor, reach out to this man. If you are someone who wants to see beautiful products being developed in Indian by Indians and transferred around the world, then follow and support what this man and his company are doing.
Super. Thank you so much today, Brian. My contact details are Tanveer, that's TANVER, @SOVA, SOVA.health. So find me, email me. Looking forward to a conversation.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Brian.